The way I am looking at this particular situation is that if you look at the traditional forecasting, demand forecasting process and the industry, we have not dependent on the we never depended on the data that was there in the available in the market today. So typically speaking, like the traditional processes like bottom up forecasting, top down forecasting, where the approach is to do the demand forecasting area. So the new normal, the way I'm looking at it, it is a great opportunity for the people like me, companies like us, for the who are data analytics enthusiasts, to actually introduce the real power of data analytics, real power of advanced analytics to create that value for the value for the industry, especially in the demand forecasting area. The likes of AI, the likes of ML will be the new normal.
Yeah. So
Probably.
just I'll just come in a little, right? So
Okay.
basically, when you say we haven't used the data, you're basically saying the companies have largely used the internal data, because a lot of forecasting has been time series based, right? To say what I
Yes.
have been doing earlier, what the promotional lift is gonna be, and so on and so forth, and just use that to keep on forecasting. But you're saying we need to go beyond that in terms of what's
Beyond
available
that.
outside the company. There have been too many challenges, right, for the logistics industry in terms of the lockdowns, the state level issues between one state and another state, the roadside assistant not being there for some time, right, the driver availability, and so on and so forth, right? But leaving all those challenges aside, what are the key silver lining or the good things that have come out of the past 3 months in your opinion?
The silver linings, if we talk about, the biggest thing that I have noticed in this period is the uptick or the receptiveness for the team in terms of digitalization. So ours has been logistics has been a traditional industry, so to say, and there has been a lot of reluctance in people in adopting technology as their core way of working. People prefer working on paper documents, face-to-face meetings, which was not possible these days. So, and as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. And another thing is agility is the need of the hour, because of such sudden spikes in demand and slowdowns. So we as a company have been operating a very asset light model, where 90% of the business that we execute is through vehicles that we hire from the market. We move almost 2,000 truckloads every day. So our business model has been very well appreciated by the customers. Customers all of a sudden, because the domestic demand was not there, they started doing export movements. So we were there for them to mobilize enough number of vehicles. So that agility is now on top of agenda for customers, and where our business model has been well established.
Yeah.
And third thing I would just mention here is there is more receptiveness for collaboration between the LSPs. We're part of many industry associations where the times are so tough for people to cope with them. People who were arch rivals, they are now at least on a talking table that what can we do together? How can we pull in our resources? That's something which I believe is a very positive trend that has come out from this crisis.
And Amartya, this is for you. What are some of the consumer behaviors you think will persist, right, and become the new way of consumer purchasing behavior? And this is across the retail and consumer businesses, right? Be it the fact that there is more online shopping happening because people think that it is more safer because they don't have to venture out, comes there, and it creates a behavior which can persist. It can also be the fact that instead of the big box retailers, right, which were a little further away, people are going more towards the groceries today because they are shorter distances, less crowded than maybe a big box retailer in a shopping mall might be. There are some of these things. Which ones do you think will persist and will have an impact going forward?
So somewhere now the COVID situation will have a short-term impact on the behavior front, on the purchase behavior, because people are afraid and they are protecting their cash as much as possible. They will be purchasing only the things which are very necessary in life. The inclination towards food is going a bit higher because they also have a threat if there is a lockdown, if I don't get any groceries, so they're stocking it up. It is not the consumption has increased. If I extend my supply chain till the household, then I will say the end pipeline has been stuck and they are actually putting their more money to preserve those things in house. But have the eating habits have changed? No, the eating habits have not changed. The people are eating as much they were eating before COVID. So the upstream of supply chain will have a demand. But if I say the downstream of supply chain of grocery, the demand will be actually same after some point of time. Yes, but people will be going less to the market. So there are particular sector like restaurant or maybe airline, travel, they will have an impact for a short term. But after 6 months or maybe 12 months, all the things will back into normal, because those things has been evolved within the society, because as a consumer we enjoy, or there was a necessity and hence they are there. So maybe you can talk about mall or travel destination. So everything will be same. Now, what will have an incremental demand, which will be there for a long term? I think insurance sector, medical, all those sector will have a impact, which people will be now more conscious and putting money to protect their life, and they are also scared after such type of event. None of us has actually projected we can be at home for 2 or 3 months. So those things will come up. There will be increase in demand. Coming to the within retail, online and offline channels, yes, online will have a surge in demand because most of those people are worried and they are not going out. But slowly after 6-8 months, even if I say when the COVID is there, people will be knowing how to combat and how to go out and how to live within COVID situation also. So I don't think in the long term there will be much change in demand pattern. There are certain sectors which have been impacted, but if we get a solution for COVID after 12 months, I think everything will be fine and normal, and the spending power of people will come back to normalcy.
Rationalization is a key exercise which should be done regularly. That's number one. Number two, in the current scenario, how do you get shelf space when the shelf space itself has come down? So half of the modern trade is currently shut down, right? Most likely in future also, while the shelves will be there, the number of shoppers that you are going to target will be much lower. How do you showcase? How many products are you going to advertise, right? So if you can be on the first screen when you open your app, right, there are products which are showcased there. How many of your products are you going to be able to showcase there, right? And therefore, like you said, in a capacity constraint, in a replenishment constraint, in a transport constraint scenario, it is going to be imperative that you focus on fewer and fewer SKUs. However, that does mean that it will have an impact on innovations for the future, right? In the beginning, what we had seen when the lockdown started, people bought the larger packs. They bought the standard food products, right? And then they filled up their pantry. So that's what happened. But over a period of time, you're not going to eat the same product for 2 months, right? You will get bored of the base flavor. You'll say, I do want variety. So you'll go out and he will try out something else. Maybe he'll try a smaller pack of something else. Sooner or later, like it happens in the Western countries, and I'm talking from food point of view, you will have a variety of food which you have stored in your house, right? And you will work through it during the course of the week, and then you will again go for convenience. You will go for, like I said, variety in taste. You will go for variety of brand. In the beginning, for the last 2 months, perhaps brands did not matter, and you are just looking at availability. Whatever is available, if XYZ sauce is not available, whatever is available, I'll pick it up. But you will go back to brand loyalty soon, right? And you will go back to the brands that you trust. All that's being said and done, there exists an opportunity for up to 20% rationalization of SKUs, taking out the ones which do not sell. This is a very good opportunity to clean up the stable and bring much more sense into how supply chains are operating. I don't think it's going to go out completely and you'll say, no, I should only work with 50% of my portfolio. That is not going to happen for some of the reasons that I stated just now. But 15 to 20% rationalization, I think aggressively people should target. It'll help save money. That's going to be very, very important. It'll help release capacity. That's going to be very, very important. And equally from the sales and marketing standpoint point of view, they are also constrained on what advertising they can do and what the salesman on the market is going to be able to sell. It is going to help throughout to the company to ensure availability of the proper range in the market. So that would be my point of view.